Mayor LaToya Cantrell was formally arraigned in federal court Wednesday, facing an indictment that centers around issues City Council has been uneasy about for years. I'm Devin Bartolotta with WWL Louisiana. The mayor's corruption allegations have underscored the rift between her administration and the City Council. It is hardly a secret that the mayor and City Council have had a tense relationship over the past few years. They have overridden, tried to ban her from traveling, and even judges have had to get involved. But now, with just 1 month until New Orleans elects Cantrell's successor and less than a week until our WWL Louisiana Mayoral Debate, all three top candidates say they can change the dynamic between two important branches of city government. Our Alyssa Curtis spoke with Councilmember Helena Moreno and Councilmember Oliver Thomas after Cantrell's arraignment Wednesday.
How do you get something done? How do you move beyond this time of bickering and where people don't see each other or talk to each other? We owe that to the public, and I'm committed to that 1,000%.
I'll bring these next council members to the table and say, okay, what are your priorities for your district? And what can I do to help you achieve those things? Because ultimately, they're the ones on the ground in their districts.
While Senator Royce Duplessis has never served on council and did not get back with us right away for an interview, he has said the key to getting things done is a collaborative relationship with council that we currently don't have. But just how important are those relationships in this mayor's race? WWL Louisiana political analyst Clancy DuBos joining us now. Clancy, I want to talk about how vital it is to have a cooperative team between the mayor's office and city council. How important is that?
It goes back to the founding fathers. They envisioned a tripartite government where you have an executive branch, a legislative branch, and the judicial branch to arbitrate disputes among individuals and among the branches, the two other branches of government. And we've seen in the immediate past and in the distant past that when a mayor and a council do not get along, when they constantly fight and are at odds over policy issues and even political issues, it is very difficult for the city to make progress. Neither side really has the upper hand in advancing an agenda. We do have a strong mayor form of government. So in most cases, the mayor can get done a lot of things within the existing framework. But if a mayor wants to enact or push forward new initiatives, most of the time, that mayor needs the help of the city council, either to change ordinances or to enact policies or to appropriate money. And now, most recently, with changes to the city charter, to approve of key executive branch officials, department heads, the police chief, fire chief, etc. So it is extremely important for a mayor and a council to get along.
It's so hard, I think, to run on that, though, to run on the promise that you're going to get along with city council, because how do you know before you are mayor how that dynamic will play out, right?
Yeah, but to some extent, you've got two major candidates for mayor who currently serve on the city council. So they know what it's like to work together as council members. And they also know what it's like both to work with an administration and to have to be a check on the administration's exercise of authority and executive powers. They can talk from that perspective. And the third candidate, Royce Duplessis, who is not on the city council, is in the legislature. So they all come from a legislative background in terms of being in the legislative branch of either local government or, in Helena Moreno's case, both. She started off as a state legislator and now serves as a city council at-large member. So they all have experience working with executives, whether it be a governor or a mayor, and serving as a check on the executive's power and exercise of authority, whether it be at the state level or the local level.
Now, Mayor Cantrell's arraignment highlighted the rift, if you will, because, a lot of the charges that she's facing federally stem from things that city council has been raising the red flag about for a while, it seems. How have you seen that relationship between Cantrell and the council deteriorate during her time in office?
Well, she got along well with the council in the first term, and that is not unusual. Most mayors get along well with council members in their first term, but because our mayors are term limited to 2 terms, as are council members, typically in a mayor's second term, he or she encounters some pushback, more than they ever saw in the first term. And that was true of Cantrell, but I think a lot of that was self-imposed. unforced errors, let's say, on the part of the mayor. She just made a lot of critical mistakes and doubled down and tripled down on some of these mistakes because that's just how she operates. And she locked horns with at least 5 members of the city council, which is enough to override her vetoes of council authorities. And it's been difficult for the city to move forward because she had trouble getting people, keeping people, good people in office, although some of her better appointees are still with us. The police chief, the health director, the sewage and water board director that she hired in her first term only recently departed for another city. So she did have some, among others, very excellent appointees, but she also had some that the council fired and 2 others that the council investigated. She has struggled in her second term, which all mayors do, but she had a lot of unforced errors that she just brought this discord on herself.
So as we go into this election season and people are making their choice of who they'd like to see as mayor, it does really seem like whoever is perceived to have a really good working relationship that could add some brownie points for you, per se, to knowing that someone is going to get things done.
Yeah, I think someone who can say, look, I know how to work with council members or legislators will certainly have a good point to make with voters. But I don't know that many voters are going to make their choice solely on that basis. But what a successful candidate for mayor needs to do is present themselves as, to the extent possible, as complete package, something that voters can look to and say, look, this person can get along with council members, this person can get along with the governor, this person can work well with the business community. They look for mayors who can really show that they know what it takes to get things done at City Hall. And I think that's the big issue right now. The overarching issue among voters, every poll, is the lack of functionality or the high level of dysfunction at City Hall at the moment. So they're looking for someone who can be a nuts and bolts mayor, who can just hit the ground running and say, we are going to make the city function again. There's nothing wrong with our form of government. What we need to do is get it working better. And a big part of that is working with the council, but also just knowing what to do and knowing how to do it. That was, in fact, Mitch Landrieu's one of his major campaign themes, because he ran at a time 12 years ago, very similar to where we are right now. Actually, 16 years ago, I'm sorry, very similar to where we are right now. The city was dysfunctional, and he said flat out, this is a direct quote, I know what to do and I know how to do it. And it resonated because voters believed it. And he did have a very successful tenure as mayor for the first term and for most of his second term. It's something that voters are looking for now, someone who really can project that he or she knows what needs to be done and knows how to get it done.
A big thank you to Clancy DuBos. And remember, our debate is coming up and you'll be able to see real concerns being laid out by real New Orleanians. You can watch Tuesday, September 16th, starting with our pre-debate show at 6:30 and the live debate from 7 to 8. You can tune in on WWL Louisiana or on WWL Plus.